Every now and then, I'll be scrolling through Twitter and find someone saying something along the lines of, "I miss the old Nintendo," or "Nintendo used to be so weird, I miss the 3DS and Wii U era." But why? The Switch has become one of the most successful video game systems of all time, on track with being the most successful video game system of all time, and it maybe has the best library of games Nintendo has ever put out. How could anyone prefer the days of Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival and Metroid Prime Federation Force over Animal Crossing New Horizons or Metroid Dread? A Nintendo Direct back in the Wii U era, it would usually only talk about a handful of games compared to the impressive amount that Nintendo show in modern day Directs. It would be easy to assume that anybody that thinks this way, they just must be blinded by nostalgia of when they were younger. However, I don't necessarily think that's the case. There was something so special about this time in Nintendo's history. People look fondly back at this time because there is something about the weird Nintendo that is no longer in the Nintendo of the modern day. And no, I'm not just talking about the quirky skits that Nintendo used to do. It's more than just that. So without waiting any longer, let us remember the weird Nintendo and what made it so special. The early 2000s represented a rather rough patch for Nintendo. Their home consoles had been less successful with each new release, and this finally reached the tipping point for Nintendo when the GameCube only sold 21.74 million units worldwide. Now, to put that into perspective, the newcomer to the scene, the original Xbox, outsold the GameCube, and it was embarrassingly dwarfed by the success of its other competitor, the PlayStation 2, which sold over 155 million units. There are a multitude of reasons why this is the case, by the way, far too many to include in this one video. It would actually need its own video completely to cover all of that. The fact is that there needed to be a change, and that is exactly what happened. New management would come in and adapt Nintendo's approach to be far more focused on bringing people together, while also making gaming accessible and fun for everyone. In 2004, Nintendo released the Nintendo DS, an uber successful handheld that used dual screens with a touchscreen. And then, in 2006, Nintendo launched the Wii, a console that changed the game forever, with its motion controls and family-friendly appeal. Now, two key figures behind the success were Reggie, the head of Nintendo of America, and Satoru Iwata, the CEO of Nintendo. Reggie with his larger-than-life personality and memes like "My body is ready," and Iwata with his visionary leadership, became the faces of Nintendo, connecting with fans in a way that felt personal and genuine. Their unique styles contributed to this charm that made Nintendo really special and quite different from its competitors. Under the genius of guys like Reggie and Iwata, the Wii would go on to become the single most successful console of its generation, and the DS would actually be the most successful handheld system of all time.
Hi, I'm Reggie from Nintendo of America, and this marks a new endeavor for Nintendo: direct video news feeds designed just for you. For this first installment, we've got some important news if you're an owner of Nintendo 3DS or just thinking of becoming one. And really, if you're neither one yet, what's wrong with you?
In 2011, Nintendo had launched the Nintendo 3DS and were preparing for the launch of the Wii U. Now, unfortunately for Nintendo, these launches would not go so well. The Wii at this point almost seemed like a fad, and there was very little interest for the Wii U itself. An intense drop in sales, quantity of games, and in some ways quality, would be evident as we went into the era of the Wii U. Even the 3DS was nowhere near the successful follow-up that it should have been. The system was really struggling until a notable price drop and a Pokemon game came out. During the tough times of the Wii U era, Satoru Iwata himself took a personal 50% pay cut to support his staff, showing his deep commitment to the team and the company. Actions like that are what drew so many fans to respect and appreciate Iwata for the great man that he was, and it is an attitude that is sorely missed in today's landscape. During this time period, however, Nintendo would change and improve their connection with the fans. Nintendo Directs were introduced, changing how the company communicated with its audience. These direct-to-fan presentations offered a level of transparency and excitement that traditional press releases just couldn't match, allowing Nintendo to engage with its community far more intimately. Directs were well ahead of their time too, as digital presentations are done far more often now across the industry. Even still, there was a charm to the Directs during this era that just simply doesn't exist in the presentations that we see today. Reggie, Iwata, and others like Bill Trinen played crucial roles during this period, using Nintendo Directs and other platforms to maintain a strong bond with the fans. They did this through insight, humor, passion, and fun. It would be remiss of me not to mention the Iwata Asks series. Iwata Asks was a web series of interviews that Satoru Iwata held between 2006 and 2015. These interviews would be held between Iwata and the developers of games that Nintendo were currently working on. The interviews gave us a look behind the curtain of development, which is something that would end up being a hallmark of Nintendo's presentation for the rest of this era.
Please welcome Nintendo President and COO Reggie
Fils-aimé.
If you say so.
Welcome to E3 Nintendo fans. And you guys thought we wouldn't have a press conference. Not my problem.
Come on, Reggie, give us Mother 3!
How about this instead?
In order to truly express what made Nintendo so special during this time, allow me to dissect with you one of Nintendo's best digital presentations of all time, the E3 2014 digital event. Like the previous year, Nintendo had opted out of a live press conference for E3, the largest trade event for video games at the time, where all major gaming companies presented their latest games, consoles, and updates. In 2014, Nintendo did a completely digital presentation, similar to a Nintendo Direct, and this particular presentation is the perfect example as to why there is such a strong community behind this company. One of the highlights was the reveal of new Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS content. The presentation opened with a rather thrilling fight scene between Reggie Fils-aimé and Satoru Iwata, leading into the announcement of Mii Fighters being added to the game. This also led to the reveal of Amiibo. This creative approach really set the tone for the entire event. I want you to just take a second to acknowledge the fact that in order to make a big new character reveal trailer, Nintendo sold it to you by showing two of their big executives having a WWE style match. It would be difficult to find any other company that could pull this off, whilst having the fans be so genuinely endeared to this trailer. After this reveal, we got to hear from the creator of the Super Smash Bros. Series, Masahiro Sakurai. I'll go more into depth about Sakurai later on in this video, but for now, we got to hear Sakurai explain his interest to include Mii Fighters in Smash Bros. On the Wii, but didn't quite think it would work for the Miis to be fighting each other. Another significant moment was the reveal of The Legend of Zelda for the Wii U. Eiji Aonuma, the series producer, took to the stage with an open and honest discussion about the game's development. He shared his vision for a vast, open-world Zelda game, emphasizing freedom and exploration, and how it would break the conventions of a Zelda game. The reveal trailer showcased a stunning, expansive landscape, and Aonuma's transparency about the development process resonated really deeply with fans. His commitment to innovation and quality reassured the community that the Zelda series was in good hands. The presentation also featured a charming segment on Yoshi's Woolly World, developed by Goodfeel. The developers shared insights to their creative process, highlighting their attention to detail and love for crafting whimsical, immersive worlds. This segment not only showcased the game's delightful aesthetics, but it also emphasized the creativity and passion behind its development. Or how about the first ever reveal of a brand new Nintendo game, Splatoon? The Splatoon developers pretty much recapped their development and explained how they managed to come up with a game like this, all while being genuinely giddy and excited for what they have just produced. Adding to the event's unique flavor were the genuinely hilarious and weird robot chicken sketches. These animated segments poked fun at Nintendo and its fan base in a lighthearted, self-aware manner, creating a fun and relaxed atmosphere. Moments like I had shown earlier on when Reggie was zapping a fan for asking for Mother 3 became instant classics, highlighting Nintendo's ability to laugh at itself. The main key takeaway from this deep dive was not that the games they had shown were really good. It was more about how they presented their games, even when the games they had shown were bad, like in the E3 2015 presentation. In 2015, Shigeru Miyamoto explained his passion for Star Fox, and what went into making Star Fox Zero. Even though this game ended up quite bad, the presentation was the same as the Nintendo Wii would come to expect. The way the developers shared information about their games, and the connection to the ones presenting the information, made the Nintendo community really feel lucky, despite the failure of the Wii U. There was no other gaming company out there that had this level of a connection between the community and the company itself, and because of this, Nintendo fans had a real connection not only with the company, but with each other.
On my business card, I am a corporate president. In my mind, I am a game developer. But in my heart, I am a gamer.
On July 11th, 2015, President of Nintendo, Satoru Iwata, had unfortunately passed away at the age of 55. Excuse me while I somewhat break the flow of this video, as for this section I'm going to speak on what this news meant personally to me. While researching this part of the video, I genuinely started to choke up. It was the end of 2014 when I became a major Nintendo fan, and it was due to no small part of Satoru Iwata. In just the short 6 or so month period that I heavily followed this company before his death, Iwata left an imprint on me. The day I found out he passed away, I was far more shaken than I ever thought I could possibly be for an executive I had never met. I remember telling a friend about the news at school, and he couldn't fathom why I would care so much about some overseas executive. As cheesy as this sounds, being part of the Nintendo community at the time really felt like being part of a family, and Satoru Iwata was the glue that held us all together. Hearing Reggie give his tribute to Iwata at the 2015 Game Awards broke my heart to see.
On a personal level, he was my boss, and he was my mentor, and he was my colleague. But most of all, he was my friend, and I'm a better person for it. And I think every gamer is better for having Mr. Iwata's vision and talent help inspire and shape the passion we all share.
It wasn't just Nintendo fans who felt devastated by this death, however. In a way that you don't see very often, the entire video game industry came together to share their appreciation and condolences for Iwata-san. Large video game companies, their own executives, developers all around the globe, and personalities in the space, they all felt deeply hurt by the news of this passing. Whether in person or just through his actions, Iwata meant so much to so many people. To learn more about the man and why he was so special, I implore you to go and watch the GDC 2005 Heart of a Gamer speech he had. It pains me that one of his final messages before his death was him publicly apologizing for Nintendo's E3 performance not being at the standard that fans had expected. And even leading up to his death, Iwata was still working hard in his hospital bed. There will never be another person like Satoru Iwata. The legacy Iwata left behind, however, was a positive one. Iwata was extremely hard at work at making what would become the Nintendo Switch. Without Iwata, Nintendo and the gaming industry would look very different today. On March 3rd, 2017, Nintendo launched the Switch, a hybrid console that redefined gaming on the go. The anticipation and excitement around the Switch were palpable, and it quickly became a massive success, perhaps being the most successful video game system of all time. Now, despite its success, the Switch era feels less tight-knit compared to the Wii U and 3DS days. The same community aspect slowly started to disappear. Now, on one hand, that is simply because there are many more people playing Nintendo games now. It doesn't feel as close. However, I think the greater factor is almost a change in identity for Nintendo themselves. Comparing the 2014 E3 presentation, which we gave a spotlight to before, to modern Nintendo Directs, highlights a noticeable shift in Nintendo's approach to communicating with its community. The E3 2014 presentation was rich with personal touches, creative reveals, and direct engagement from key figures like Reggie and Eiji Aonuma. These moments provided a sense of connection and transparency that deeply resonated with the fans. Now, in contrast, modern Nintendo Directs tend to adopt a faster-paced, headline-driven format. They often feature a rapid succession of game announcements, with less time devoted to each title and minimal direct interaction from Nintendo's figureheads. While this format allows for a greater quantity of information to be delivered efficiently, it can sometimes lack the personal connection and depth that categorized earlier presentations. Allow me to compare the old approach specifically to the latest Nintendo Direct at the time of this video's release, the 18th of June 2024 Nintendo Direct. This was one of the best Directs Nintendo had put out in a very long time. New reveals such as Mario & Luigi Brothership, a new Zelda game, and my favorite reveal, gameplay of Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, really made this Direct top notch in terms of game reveal quality. However, let's compare the section on The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom in this 2024 Direct to the section on The Legend of Zelda for Wii U in the E3 2014 presentation. Now, on the surface, they actually seem quite similar, both showing game footage and having director Eiji Aonuma talk about the game itself. In the 2014 presentation, Aonuma is excited and passionate to share what they were working on. He was quick to share the development decisions and how they think fans will enjoy this new Zelda game. Now, for the 2024 game, Aonuma is simply saying a brief description of the game, as if it was read off a Wikipedia article. All of the charm and identity of this announcement has been stripped away, and Aonuma just becomes another guy presenting in this showcase. The same goes for Metroid Prime 4. It would have been really cool to hear some insight on the development from either Retro Studios or Nintendo. However, all we got was a rather basic, "So, what do you think?" While the newer approach ensures fans stay up to date with a wide variety of titles, the deeper engagement and storytelling elements from events like the 2014 E3 presentation are missed. The personal insights and creative reveals made fans feel like a part of the Nintendo family, fostering a stronger emotional connection. This aspect of the 2014 presentation underscored Nintendo's unique charm, and is why so many fans still look back on it as a golden moment in Nintendo's history. The newer approach instead feels like just any other ad compilation that you see any other video game company do. There's no reason why you can't have the same caliber of games, while still being personable, fun, and freaking weird. While modern Nintendo figureheads like Shuntaro Furukawa, Doug Bowser, and Yoshiaki Koizumi are competent and respected leaders for sure, they haven't quite captured the same level of personal connection with the community that Reggie and Satoru Iwata once did. This shift can be observed in several key areas of their engagement with the fans. In 2019, Reggie left Nintendo. Reggie, known for his charismatic and larger-than-life personality, frequently engaged directly with the audience. His memorable moments, like that one time he challenged pro player Hungrybox to a game of Smash Bros, despite later admitting that he sucks at Smash, created a fun and memorable spectacle. His genuine farewell message when he retired created a sense of sadness, like there would be a huge hole ripped out of the heart of Nintendo. These moments transcended typical corporate communication, making fans feel like they were a part of the Nintendo family. Now, to cap off some of my comments on Reggie, allow me to show you a few of my favorite clips of the man himself.
Team, we're going to be powering through some meetings all day today, but to keep us going, I got us some snacks. Bill! 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 Canadians, they're the type of players I'm thinking about. That's what I need. Hey, get me Canada on the phone. Nintendo's great. I really had the best job in the world. Tanner, I have to ask you something. Would you give me my old job back?
But what will I do?
Do you have any skills?
日本語喋れますよ。
Oh, great. Bill, you're fired.
What will they be showing?
It doesn't say, but
I am a new peripheral here, made by Mr. Miyamoto.
Forget about it. I'm just going home.
Our biggest opportunity is right here.
In contrast to Reggie, modern leaders like Shuntaro Furukawa and Doug Bowser aren't really personalities that the community are that familiar with. Now, that doesn't make them bad leaders in any way at all, but it doesn't make them feel like what we have come to expect from Nintendo personalities. Instead, they just feel like any old executive from any old company. The modern direct presenters like Shinya Takahashi and Yoshiaki Koizumi, they often present a more formal and polished style. While professional, their interactions can sometimes feel distant compared to the personal touch of their predecessors. These guys have yet to create memorable moments or any deeply personal messages that resonate on an emotional level with the fans. Despite their engaging presentations, Nintendo is lacking the spontaneous charm that categorized Iwata segments. Their polished delivery, while informative, doesn't always capture the same warmth and approachability that fans cherished in Iwata and Reggie's interactions. The difference in approach may be partly due to the evolving nature of corporate communication in general and the need for efficiency in modern directs. However, that unique personalities and personal engagement that Reggie and Iwata brought to their roles are elements that many fans still long for. Their ability to make fans feel seen, heard, and valued created a special bond that modern figureheads have simply just yet to fully replicate.
Now that we've finally confirmed the development of this DLC, please know that we'll be working really hard on it. I wonder if I'll ever get to take a break.
While modern Nintendo Directs have shifted towards a faster-paced, headline-driven format, Masahiro Sakurai remained a beacon of the old Nintendo charm through his work on the Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. His character presentations and directs had so much personal engagement and warmth, reminiscent of that golden Wii U and 3DS era. Sakurai's presentations were not just announcements, they were heartfelt conversations with the community itself. Every character reveal was an event filled with enthusiasm, detailed explanations, and personal anecdotes. For example, during the reveal of Ridley for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Sakurai acknowledged the fans' long-standing requests and shared his team's creative process in making the character a reality. This transparency and connection to the fan desires echoed the sincerity seen in Reggie and Iwata's interactions. How Masahiro Sakurai is the only reason I can count to 10 in binary, because he wanted to show off how he could count in binary to number all of the Fire Emblem games. Another standout moment was the announcement of Banjo-Kazooie joining the roster. Sakurai's genuine excitement was palpable, and he took the time to discuss the character's history and significance to the fans. He even told people to go out and buy an Xbox to play the game, and he had a good chuckle after that one. This approach created a sense of shared joy and celebration, much like that community-focused presentations that we would see in the past. Sakurai's in-depth demonstrations of new characters were also a hallmark of his presentations. He didn't just announce new additions, he invited players into the development process, explaining movesets, strategies, and even the design philosophy behind each character. These segments were informative and engaging, providing a deeper connection between the game and its community. It felt as though Sakurai was speaking directly to each fan individually, honoring their passion and curiosity. Perhaps the most poignant example of Sakurai's enduring connection with the community came from the reveal of the final DLC character for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Sora. The culmination of years of dedicated work, this presentation was both a celebration and a farewell. Sakurai's heartfelt reflections on the journey of creating Ultimate and his gratitude towards the fans for their support highlighted the deep bond that he had cultivated over the years. Sakurai's presentations were always highly anticipated events, not just for the content, but for the personal touch he brought. His approach mirrored the charm and engagement of Nintendo's golden era, where fans felt a genuine connection with the creators. The emotional responses from fans, whether joy, surprise, or even tears, underscored the impact of his heartfelt communication. In many ways, Sakurai's work on Super Smash Bros. Served as the last remnant of the old Nintendo style. His dedication to transparency, his genuine excitement, and his respect for the community carried forward the legacy of guys like Reggie and Iwata. Now that the DLC is over for Smash Ultimate, Sakurai 2 is no longer a part of Nintendo presentations, ultimately meaning the last piece of proper Nintendo charm. It's no longer there. This video was primarily made as a tribute to those within Nintendo who made it so special. It has been 9 years since the passing of Satoru Iwata, and the impact is still felt today. But I would be lying if I said this was the only reason Nintendo felt so special at the time. The vibe of the consoles themselves was so charming. Compare how welcoming the Wii U system itself was to how bland the Switch UI is. The Switch doesn't even have any background music for its online store. More than the UI, the people in the community contributed to this feeling probably equally as much as the company itself. A significant part of Nintendo's community engagement thrived online, thanks to influencers and YouTubers who brought fans together. I remember the legends like Etika, whose enthusiastic and genuine reaction to Nintendo announcements made him a real icon in the community. Erika too has since passed away, and I miss his presence a lot. Despite the ups and downs, Nintendo wouldn't be the same without content creators who helped bring the community together. It also helps a lot that since Nintendo were not that successful during this time, the community was a lot smaller and therefore quite a lot more compact and connected, like our own little pocket of the industry. Another aspect of the Wii U era was Miiverse, Nintendo's own, let's just say quirky, social network. Despite its many flaws and hilariously awkward moments, Miiverse managed to bring the community together in a bit of a unique way. Whether it was sharing game tips, posting art, or just having fun with the sometimes questionable moderation rules, Miiverse was a place where fans could connect and share their love for Nintendo games, and led to some pretty hilarious moments like, why can't Metroid crawl? I would highly recommend watching a video on what Miiverse was all about. Initially, for the conclusion of this video, I had a whole list of things Nintendo could do to restore this feeling. But honestly, I don't know if that is possible. Even if they can replicate it to a degree, there will only ever be one Satoru Iwata. And there will only ever be one Reggie Fils-Aimé. Now, for the most part, I am really glad Nintendo's moved into this successful period and that the game quality is higher than it used to be. But I do miss when Nintendo used to be weird. I miss when I could watch a Nintendo Direct and have lasting memories sticking with me forever. But for now, we just have to live with the memories that Nintendo left us with. Regardless, with the success of the Switch, I hope Iwata is looking down, smiling. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Did Nintendo have an impact on you during this time period? What do you think Nintendo can do to rekindle this magic? And let me know your favorite moment from a Nintendo Direct. If you want to see a more relaxed side of me, then you can check me out on Twitch at twitch.tv/coolcuzzy, or join our Discord as linked below. This is my first video of this style, but I do plan on making more in the future, so stay tuned. But for now, that will do it. Please understand, this video was presented directly to you.